Coming up on the Santana Moss Show, the Redskins have to take a L with their star running back going down in his first preseason game.
Yikes, and the fallout at University of Maryland football continues.
Tell me what you want.
Ooh, yeah.
Dru Hill is adding the boys from player.
I'm pretty sure my wife's going to leave me for taking L's this week.
And the Santana Moss Show starts now.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical fact.
What if we ever hear somebody say, "This is my song, turn it up"?
I'm going to dance with him. You hear me?
Santana Moss Show podcast, Travis Thomas, Santana Escobar Moss. Hey, man, I got to tell you, I had a great weekend this weekend.
Did you? I saw you.
Bro, all I've been doing is grinding. I can't remember the last time I took like a weekend to myself and my family. Mm-hmm. I really can't. That's how long it's been. Finally, this weekend, I put my foot down. I circled a few months ago on the calendar. This past weekend's date, I said, I'm taking that weekend. And I did. And I had offers coming at me. I know you know how this feels. I had offers coming at me, do radio, do this, do that. I turned them down. I stuck to my guns. I said, nope, I'm out of town that weekend. So I went away with the family to Philadelphia, born and raised.
You had some cheesesteaks?
I did.
Did you go to Ishkabil's?
So I had a chance to go to there or Jim's.
Geno's? Oh,
Jim's.
Oh, because Geno's is normally the popular.
Geno's I've been to before. Geno's and Pat's, I think, are like the touristy places. I've been to those back in the day when I went to Philly. This time, it was between, what do you call it, Ishkabiddles?
Ishkabibble's.
Ishkabibbles or Jim's, which was also very popular. And I felt like I could say Jim's, so I was close.
So you should have said Tanner.
I should have. It was right. They're right next to each other.
I talked about Ishkabibble's to you and told you.
You did?
I rode 2 hours one day on a cheat day and went and got me some Ishkabibble's. Yes. I'm telling my secret, see?
Well, I'll be back for sure.
Gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good time, man. We did the whole tourist thing.
Fun, though.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good times. Although, it's hard to travel with a 1-year-old kid. It's very difficult. Moody.
He's a little ladybug, too.
Yeah, he flirts.
He gets all the action. He's a magnet.
He does flirt. And he does not discriminate with the ladies. He doesn't care.
Like them all.
He likes them all. And they flirt right back.
Where do we get that from?
Not from me, Tana. What about you, man? How was your weekend?
I had a good weekend. Yeah. I had a great weekend, honestly. Let's first start off Saturday. I actually went out to Evergreen Sports Complex down in Leesburg. Checked out a couple of Little League football games.
Oh, nice.
It was crazy because I did my camp there this year. The Moss Academy was held there for the first time. We actually coming back and doing it next summer again. But the staff had every ball club that came in bring in school supplies to donate to my foundation for my school supplies, cool. Give back drive this upcoming weekend on the 18th. So I went there, and then I went to the Taste of Leesburg later on that day. I got a chance to team up with I'm not even going to say their name because I get tie-tongue when I say it, but it's a brokerage company. They was fabulous. They actually, gave me the red carpet treatment.
Nice. And
we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the future together. So I sat there at their tent, talked for a long time, and, folks came and just, took pictures with me, you name it. A lot of folks had already donated supplies and book bags already for me. So it was a great weekend. That was my first time visiting the Taste of Leesburg, so I have to come back when they do it again.
You get some food?
I didn't eat, me.
Wasn't a cheat day.
It was. I cheated earlier that day. I cheated. Matter of fact, I didn't cheat Saturday. You're right. I cheated Sunday. Sunday was my cheat day. And you already know. We already put it live on the.
Oh, man. Paisanos, we gave them a lot of love last episode.
But they give me so much love right
here.
Yes,
sir. As they should. Please continue.
So much. What you want?
Now, how is it you could say Ishkabiddles and not the mortgage place?
I get tie-tongue with stuff, man, especially when you're thinking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Ishkabiddles is just like one of those things.
Ishkabibbles.
When you're a fat person at heart, man, food never gets you tie-tongue.
Oh, Tana. Well, here we go, man. I mean, every week we do this show, we get this much closer to real football.
No doubt.
No disrespect to the preseason, but disrespect to the preseason. You know what I'm saying? We're getting closer to the regular season, although Man, oh man, we had a big loss with the Redskins. Derrius Guice goes down, torn ACL, and broke my heart in the process. Santana, you've been positive throughout this. Of course, we both feel for the young man.
No doubt.
But you've found the silver lining in this injury.
It's no other way to go. It's no other route to take. I feel bad for the kid, you know, especially being down that road before. I was a guy that got hurt before my first preseason game. You know, fan appreciation night. How about that? So understanding those pains, understanding that letdown, I was the first round pick. You know, the pick, the guy that's supposed to come in here and do everything that he did, you know, back in those Kane days. That's what New York wanted to see from me. And to go down, to get the looks, to get the, you know, it's a different time. I think it's so far past where I was at, because back then you had a lot of veterans on the team that they knew nothing but being available for your team. They knew nothing about, you know, hey, yeah, if you're injured, you're injured. But it was hard. It was pretty hard on a young man like myself. I can tell you this. These guys are a lot easier on him than it was on me back then in 2001 with the Jets. But when I saw him go down, man, I watch football a little differently these days. I don't watch it. Actually, I watch guys run the ball, and immediately I'm saying to myself, now it's time to get down. You know, they don't see what I see because I'm watching. But I used to be the guy that if I had a one-on-one guy I can beat, then I'm going to beat him. When I start feeling other hands on me and knowing there's nowhere to go, I found a way to let my legs go, you know, because I know those things go first. You know, when you got guys tugging on you, pulling on you, no matter how strong your legs are, sometimes those things go. What happened to Derrius is freak. It's a freak accident. You know, it's one of those situations that he did all he could do. Got extra yardage, broke long run, and someone just got him from behind, and he stepped wrong. You know, I watched the play over and over and over to find what happened, where it happened. And I clearly said to myself before they brought the camera back to him, I said, I think he's hurt. Before I even saw him sitting up there on the ground, when I watched the tackle and it kind of went off him and went somewhere else, and the commentators was talking about there was a penalty. I was actually thinking the guy Harris or someone jumped off sides because I saw him kind of motion towards the line of scrimmage early. So I was wondering did they got Harris for that motion or not.
Time out a second. What did you see? Because when we watched the game, you said you watch it differently, being a former athlete who's in this game now. What did you see? Because when I watched it, when I saw the replay, I said, well, I didn't see anything.
It wasn't a whole lot. It wasn't a whole lot.
He laid down for a while. He got up. I said, he's fine. What did you see?
It wasn't
It
wasn't a whole lot. So don't sit here and think that I just have the eye that can see it all. But if you watch clearly, when that left leg stuck into the ground, it kind of like you can saw it. It was slight. It was slight. It was very sudden. You know, you can't with a person who doesn't know how legs or how those joints and those ligaments work. You know, for me, I watch it so I can tell if something stuck and didn't give. And you got to understand, they was playing on that not artificial turf, but they was playing on field turf. Right. And that stuff don't give. So it's like one of those situations where, wow, he was just unlucky, and as an organization, we was just unlucky that night because, you know, one of the things I alluded to on the show the other day, I was like, you almost get mad at the fullback for holding because if he never hold, he gets tackled. Sure. You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy how things like that happen, man. So I feel bad for him. One of the things I do like his spirits. I like the fact that that he was up, and I understand sometimes it could be false, it could be fake, it could be something that you're just trying to, you know, put on. We don't know how he goes and laid his head down at night and what he feels. I know how I felt, so I can just imagine what the kid is going through. But just know this: if you trust the process, like he's trusted the process so far to get to where he's at, he's going to come back stronger, and he's going to be able to go out there and do some of the things that he did at that moment and even better.
Yeah, he's also a young guy too, and I think that's lost in this is that, look, he's going to bounce back because he doesn't have the mileage and the age and the attrition as maybe a veteran would, a 10-year guy who sustained this injury. Sure, he can come back, but it will probably take a little more out of him or take longer for him to be himself again. I think this kid will bounce back no problem. I actually got some text messages from some of my buddies who don't live in the DMV, who don't live in this market, and they didn't understand it. They're like, why are the Redskins freaking out about a rookie who never played a regular season game anyway? And I said, it's kind of hard to explain unless you're here. But this kid, you know, we hadn't seen hype in a Redskins player like this since RG3. Now, you were on the team when RG3 got hurt. He got hurt several times, but you know what I'm talking about, the first one. What does it do to a locker room when a guy who has all these expectations gets hurt?
Well, one of the things I can say for this situation, and being so far removed from what's going on over there in between those hallways in that locker room, I don't know. But I can assure you this. Watching the way the other guys responded throughout that game, it showed me that bringing Derrius in had already risen the level of play in that running back room. If you watch those different guys get in there and get their opportunity, you saw Kelly running hard. You saw the guy who scored running hard. You saw Bibbs running hard. You saw P. Ryan. He ran hard. He got in there. He looked like a different back. So you can already be sure that those running backs knew that it was going to be a battle going on, regardless if this guy was going to be the guy who they give the ball to and say, hey, you are our guy. He risen all those guys play, and that's what you want. He had already brought, that energy into that room to say, hey, you know what? We can't just be mediocre in this area right here. Last year we was ranked, 26, 28. But people put that on the backfield as a total. You can't do that because the offensive line was depleted all last year. So if you really think about it, earlier in that season when the offensive line was all together, they had some pretty good rushing performances against teams. And all we look at is the ending factor, say, hey, they was ranked 28. This guy was going to make a difference. No, the offensive line, the total, and the backfield was going to make a difference. So that's one of the things that everybody's, pinning their hat on, that, oh, that's the Redskins. That's it for them in their running game. No, he risen the level of play for all those guys back there, because I clearly see that now with him going down, there's a guy or two that we probably wasn't going to keep. That's now we have to keep. And it was going to be a good guy. It was going to be a guy that we probably, couldn't afford to get rid of because of, the way he played. And now he has the opportunity to stick around and make some plays for us. So as long as the offensive line is the offensive line that we need them to be, being healthy, healthy and just being accountable and being there, as long as they're there and they're doing their job, any one of those guys that's there now, P. Ryan, Kelly, Bibbs, we already know what Chris Thompson can do. As long as he get back to full strength, all those guys can really run the ball and be exceptionally well in that backfield, whether they're catching or running out of that backfield. So I'm looking forward to just seeing anybody right now, because I know they know that Derrius he's right now he's sitting on ice because of his knee injury, and he'll be back. He'll be back sooner or later. Not this year, but you have to go out there and put good things on tape, because when he does come back, somebody's got to go.
No doubt. The death of Jordan McNair continues to fall out there at University of Maryland football. So head coach DJ Durkin now been placed on administrative leave, as well as the strength coaches Rick Court and company. So Tanner, I just want to ask you. I mean, you look at all these articles that are coming out and these stories that are being done, and they're calling it the toxic football culture at University of Maryland. What are your thoughts on all this?
Well, one of my thoughts is, if we allow, and it's crazy because I'm in this world now. Yeah. If we take everything that the media throws at us and paint that picture that they're giving us, everything is corrupt. Everything is bad. Everything, we just know from that point of what we read that that's what's going on over there. We don't know. We are blind. We are in the blind. All we know, all we understand is that someone passed away. Yeah. If you read into the article, the guy passed away some days after whatever happened to him, whether he caught a heat stroke or he just couldn't take some of the intense training that he was going through. I'm not sure, because me and you just talked about this, and one of the things I said, that it's a touchy situation because, one, we wasn't there, so we can't chime in and talk about whether the coach was at fault, whether their staff was at fault, or the kid was at fault. But at the end of the day, I played this game of football for a very long time, since 12 years old. That was the chance I got a chance to play organized football. And I've always been put in a situation where, these coaches have gotten the best out of me because they pushed me to the test. They pushed me to the point to where there was no return. You either going to say, I'm going to fight through this, or I'm going to quit. And one of the things that makes a champion is being able to defy some of those moments when you think that it's time to tap out, and you don't. You find yourself that if I can push through this moment here, I can be better come fourth quarter when I'm called on, come third quarter when I need to make this first down, come any situation at any point of a game that they can call on me. This moment here in practice, this moment here in offseason, this moment here in preparation is going to allow me to be stronger, to be better, to be more, be able to stand the test of whatever's in front of me, whatever opponent, that is giving me a hard time. So it's kind of one of those iffy situations, is that what happened? what went on. You know, we hearing the things about the toxic, you know, coaching and all this stuff, and then now players come out and saying, yeah, we was being abused verbally, we was being abused, you know, mentally, whatever they were saying. And to tell you the truth, it's not a laughing matter, but I've been in those shoes.
Yeah.
I've had coaches that called me names that I wouldn't go home and share with my parents. But at the end of the day, it's my coach. And I allowed him to do that because if I was acting accordingly, then you know what? I'm not him, but you ain't going to call me too many of those because I'm going to give you better effort. So I just hate that, you know, this family has to be dealing with this situation. I hate the Maryland family, too, that have to deal with this situation as far as the organization and the university because you don't know what this is going to bring them. And now they're preparing themselves for a season. But it's always tough to talk about something like this, especially when someone loses their life behind something.
For sure.
And I'm just, you know, deeply saddened that this kid had to lose his life in that fashion. One of the other things that we alluded to, or that I alluded to earlier when we were talking about this, is that I'm not sure if the staff preparing these kids the way they should be prepared, knowing that, hey, tomorrow we're running 21-10s. You name it. I'm throwing a number out there. I know that's what we did at UM. Make sure you hydrate all night. Make sure you put the right kind of fluids, right kind of food, all that stuff. You have to give these kids a format of what it's going to take for them to be at their best the next day. So I think a lot of the things that's going to raise eyebrows throughout the whole, you know, world of or sports period, that as a coach, yes, it's okay for you to push your guys, but make sure you prepare these guys a little bit to what they're going to be expected of, because you never know what can happen. And this is like, I just, you know, had to deal with a kid, or one of the kids that I sat down and had I call it a mentoring lunch with. He passed away his first year in college. First year. You know, this was 2 weeks ago. This kid just passed away after a workout. So you don't know, man, what's going on. It's a different time, for one. The heat out there is crazy. It's excruciating at times. I ride my bike this morning, and I'm kind of a little crazy because I put on a hoodie every time I ride. I just want to sweat. You know,
crazy
extremely
as hell,
bad.
man.
I have to. One, I don't want to be seen and everybody blowing their horn and yelling at me. And the other, I just want to sweat. I want a great sweat. And so, but the heat is crazy. No matter how cool it is, you might think, man, that heat doesn't play and it's undefeated. So I think all these kids, man, it's going to be something that they can look at, man, and hopefully learn from. I hate the fact that they have to learn from someone losing their life. I hate the fact that Maryland University have to be dealt with this, but also that this kid's parents have to deal with losing their son through something that he probably loved.
Yeah,
Really.
This is a tragic situation for the McNair family, and our hearts go out to them, obviously. And they are going to sue the pants off Maryland. Now, here's the deal. So I did a show called The Off-Season Grind 2 summers ago for NBC Sports Washington. One of the stories I did, it was basically a show about off-season training. One of the stories I did was Maryland football. And Rick Court and that strength coaching staff gave me an all-access pass. And I watched these workouts, and they were intense. And the thing was, Tana, they preached, and so did Coach Durkin, who was very much involved. They preached then, we are trying to change the culture at Maryland. We are trying to change the culture. That was their whole message. That's the only reason I think they let me do the story, because usually strength programs are kind of closed door anyway. They wanted to send the message to recruits and parents and the community, the whole we're trying to change the football culture here in Maryland. And so I think there is a fine line of, they were pushing these kids. They were in these kids' face. But I do think if a kid is having a seizure or a heat stroke or whatever the case, you got to have medical. You got to have people on the scene or within earshot who can get there quick and get this sorted out. You cannot just, as a coach, sit there and say, drag his ass off the field and keep going.
No.
I mean, so to me, this is negligence on the highest level. I think all those guys are going to get fired. And I think, you know, look, Maryland football forever will be changed.
You know what sucks about that situation? Because I can sit here and remember numerous of times. I can remember numerous of times where I saw guys fall out. This is a different time. Like I say, it's a different time. So many years, you know, before now, where I saw guys fall out. I saw other guys, other teammates will finish their run and go back and get those guys and carry them across the line so we can have him finish his run. And never that I've heard a coach say, get him out of there or whatever, but I've heard coaches, you know, want the best from that player and know that maybe that player not giving him his all.
Right.
And, you know, speak in a fashion, you know, in such a fashion.
To fire him up.
To fire him up. No doubt. So one of the things that we have to understand, and I'm saying this because, like I said, I don't know. First and foremost, I don't know what went on, but I don't want to pick sides either because, like I said before, someone lost their life. But let's not be so hard on this coaching staff for trying to get the best out of these kids. For one thing I can say is that Maryland has took a turn in their play in football.
Yeah.
I've saw them compete against some of the best these past few years.
Yep.
And one thing I've learned over the past few years is that any and everything that comes out wrong or supposedly wrong, it never you get more people speaking on it once something like this happens, something tragic like this happens.
That's when they take shots.
And that's what I hate, because as soon as you found out this kid, passed and everything went on, now every player coming out, we're being abused. So it's a fine line between being abused or somebody is trying to push you to get the best out of you. So I just hope somewhere down the line they find the best way to handle this situation. I hope, I feel sorry for both sides. Like I said before, those parents that lost that kid, no one deserves that. That kid don't deserve that. And, my condolences goes out to them. But I also feel sorry for the families that have to deal with this on that coaching staff. They have to deal with their loved ones being ridiculed and accused for something that
they're going to be fired.
One thing is being fired, but being accused for something that you have no control over. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when you're pushing someone too hard. And sometimes you do, And
that's why I'm saying. Yeah. Just take the precaution.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Just the same way UM did with you guys with the pre-workout stuff. I mean, just have someone on site that if something goes wrong, you can rectify the situation. Because the bottom line is, if they had got to this kid quick enough, he'd still be with us.
You're right.
So, all right, on a brighter note, Tana, this has Santana Moss written all over it, this story. Dru Hill adds. I knew he was going to sing. I was waiting on it. R&B veterans Playa to the group. They announced a new album. Dru Hill has announced a brand new album called The Second Coming. How original, Dru Hill. We'll add Playa members Jawan Smoke Peacock and Benjamin Black Bush.
Black, what's up, boy?
I am not mature enough to read these names. Let's try that again. Jawan Smoke Peacock. That's a poor name. And Benjamin Black Bush, which I'm not even going there.
Hey, boy, you fool.
To the group. So there you go. So what does that mean? Is it still Cisco, Woody, and Nico, and then these two porn name dudes, or what's going on? Either way, whatever. What do you think of Dru Hill coming back?
First of all, I love R&B.
I know.
It's not a surprise to you.
You're an R&B dude.
I'm R&B and thug. I got both sides. R. Kelly told me a long time ago, you can be both. So I'm an R&B thug. I need my shoot 'em up, bang bang, but at a certain time of night, I'm gonna cut a line through that, and I need to be slowed down a little bit.
Just for our sake, don't listen to everything R. Kelly says, Tana. Please,
right.
Lord.
Well, I understand what R. Kelly is going through, and he's a guy that at the end of the day, and man, music speaks for itself.
Yeah.
A lot of our kids is here, and you might be here because of R. Kelly. I'm talking about kids. I know I had a couple of them off of R. Kelly, so I'm not going to be ashamed to say it.
Oh no, my parents was old school. I feel like I was an Earth, Wind, and Fire baby.
You was Earth, Wind, and Fire. You was Big Landross too.
Right, or
Big Luther.
Big Luther. Al Green or somebody.
Yeah, but no, honestly, R&B it's crazy because everything now is more so hip hop R&B. Everything now is you got to have a guy rapping, and then I got to have a R&B, little snippet on here and there, a hook. Everything is so hip hop R&B, and I'm hoping because it's like a revolving door. Everything comes back.
No doubt.
You remember those days in the 90s, in the 80s, especially when it was the 80s, that old school.
Keith Sweat.
I'm a 70. I was born in 79, so you got to consider me as an 80 baby. But man, that Keith Sweat used to everybody. Keith Sweat whining. That boy sung his soul out. You hear me? I found Keith Sweat's soul one day because he left it. I want him. Hey boy, real talk. So I appreciate a good R&B group, and Dru Hill has been, they've been one of those groups, man. 112 is one of my better groups that I like. Before 112 was a new addition. So, Dru Hill is trying to stay relevant, and I appreciate them bringing some guys in and say, hey, man, we got to keep this thing going.
So hold up.
We got to bring this R&B thing back.
So when Dru Hill was popping, like they were like late 90s.
96, 98.
Yeah, 97, 98. When they were popping, what was you doing, Tanner? Huh? Riding around with the Dru Hill. What was going on in young Tanner man's
You know
life?
what? I was balling, man. I was balling. No, honestly, like, seriously, my mind was on somewhere else. When Dru Hill was doing that, one of my favorite songs in 96, Never Make a Promise.
Never make a promise that I can keep. That was hard, Tanner.
Honestly, I was balling. I was playing ball, and all of us had our little girlfriends.
You was making all kinds of promises you couldn't keep.
Well, lying like a mother. You hear me? Nah, but for real, I called it lies now because, boy, you ain't know what you was going to be doing.
You said whatever it took.
Whatever it took. But honestly, around those days, I was playing some of my best football and running track. I was in high school, so that was my later years in high school. That was my senior year. Yeah. And I remember just, damn, boy, don't get me to tell my secrets on this damn show. I remember having some fun behind some of those songs. But at the end of the day, man, like, that was real R&B.
Yeah,
honestly,
that
was real R&B. And Dru Hill was, I remember, 96, 98, I was in my second year of college. One of my favorite songs of 98 is How Deep Is Your Love? How deep is your love? You hear me? I was one of those guys. Let me tell a little secret, man.
Here we go.
I gotta be honest.
It's your show.
I have to be honest. I had one of those CD changers, right? Those six. It was about 6 CD disc changer.
It used to make the noise when they changed the CD, and then it played.
Woo! And I was one of those guys. I always had my CDs set up,
strategic.
And boy, if you walked in that room, I'm gonna hit that remote, bing, and you gonna hear that thing shift. And I kept it on random because I never wanted one CD to play the whole time. I put 5 or 6 of them things in there for that thing to rotate. You hear me? And boy, they hear that thing come on. It was gonna either be Dru Hill, some R. Kelly. I gotta give it to R because he was that dude. Some Usher. 112 had to be in there. Might have some Case and some Joe.
God.
And, Jodeci a little bit every now and then. I was a Jodeci fan too. But, man, trust me, boy, that CD changer, boy, that thing, I think it almost broke because I used it so much.
Hey, bro, you did good, man. You should have at least 13, 14 babies.
Hell no.
You did all right.
Woo. I was mindful of what I was doing. You hear me? I wasn't out there. I wasn't chasing.
You should have a whole basketball team.
I didn't have to chase. You feel me? So at the end of the day, I was straight.
So Tanner's like, we're same age group. Tanner's 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
So you were in college. I was just basically, I was like a junior in high school when Dru Hill was doing their thing, and similar to you, it was Dru Hill helped me out a lot. At that time, you had just got your car. So I was riding around. Unlike you didn't chase it. I respect that. I chased the hell out of it. So I was riding around in the car with the Dru Hill, just trying to make it happen.
Yeah,
that was pretty much my life with
That's what's up. But I'm happy to hear this one of these groups that been around for a while. We see so many documentaries nowadays of the old groups, and I still to this day believe that New Edition can come out right now and put out an album.
Easy.
I mean, none of those guys have lost it,
Except Bobby. Bobby. You know what? This is a good time to transition to taking L's while we're talking Bobby. Because Bobby ain't quite the same as he used to. Everybody still got it except Bobby Brown. Taking L's. Tan, I want to tell you. I feel like I took an L.
I did
Bobby, man. Shout outs to Bobby if he's watching. We love you, Bobby. We miss you. Come home.
I love Bobby, man. Don't be cruel. Don't be.
I hope every little step that Bobby takes
I would never be that cruel to you.
Man, Bobby,
oh
Lord.
My God, you just killed Bobby, man.
Bro.
I couldn't even finish like that. Time out.
Bobby ain't the same.
Yeah, man, but I didn't want to do that to Bobby, man.
I'll do it. Hey, look, man, I feel like I took an L this weekend. I'm going to tell you why. The grand scheme of things, It was a win because I got through it, but I felt bad.
Mhm.
All right, so I like gambling. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not a card player. I don't shoot craps. Like, I like gambling on sports. Okay, it's now legal in New Jersey, Delaware, Mississippi, West Virginia. So I was going to Philly this weekend, as I mentioned at the top of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Told the wife, I don't want to hear no crap. I'm stopping at Dover Downs on the way to Philly. I got some football bets I want to make before the season. She didn't give me too much, so I stopped, right? We get to the casino, and, we got the baby with us. So I'm like, all right, look, I'm going to just be honest with you. I've never been to this particular spot. I'm going to guess they don't allow kids. I don't know. Y'all are welcome to come in, but I'm telling you right now, if we get to the door and they say no kids, you got to kill some time. I'm going to make these bets, right? Sure enough, we get up there and they don't let her in, her and my son. So now I feel terrible, Tana, because I'm like, damn, I didn't think this was really going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So now I go in to gamble on sports. My wife and nearly 1-year-old child are walking through the casino like by the slots. My baby face just looking at all the lights, and I'm like, oh, this is. I'm a bad person. So I go in. I didn't even rush. I took my time. I had to make sure the bets were on point.
No doubt.
So I bet against the Ravens. I think it was 8 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I bet they would win below that. I bet against the Bengals. It's like 6.5 wins. So I think they're really gonna suck. And then I put some money on Ohio State because her odds are terrible now with everything going on.
Coaches and everything.
Yeah, so I put some money on them. And then I left. So it took about a half an hour. And she was cool with it, but I felt real bad. I felt like a degenerate gambler.
So with all that you bet on, if you win, what's that going on?
So if
That's
I win.
what I want to hear.
So I'll put it like this. The NFL ones were okay. I think 75 down on the Ravens and the Bengals. I'd get back like 180. Not bad. But if Ohio State wins the championship, I was blown away by this. If they win the championship, I put $75 down. I would get close to like $500. It was like a 400-something payout.
Gotcha.
That's crazy. So
That's
imagine
fair.
if I put real money.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean?
Money.
There are guys out there that put 5 stacks on whatever. So
what's real money and fake money? I mean,
true.
Monopoly money is fake money.
That's true.
Money is money.
It's
to
all
me.
relative.
So at the end of the day, you get a chance to stack something.
True.
Whether it's $1 or $2.
True.
If you win, you win. So
Do
I
you
like
feel
it.
like I did my family wrong?
No, you didn't.
Because I told her
Well-
ahead of time, right?
Well, with your son walking around looking like that.
He wanted to play the slot. She wouldn't let him.
Guy got Google. He
Said, Mom, let me get 15 on red.
Speaking of taking L's though, man, and you know me. I told you this is my daily do. I think L's just pop. They bounce off me these days. It ain't a day I don't take an L. And I don't, like I say, it's a lesson. I tell my kids all the time, it's a lesson.
Yeah?
It's a lesson. We ain't losing because of this. It's a lesson.
Right. That's right.
I don't know which one to talk about, whether it's my DirecTV or my Citibank cards.
Go Citibank, because we just on DirecTV.
We need to on them because I damn sure I'm still trying to find enough energy to call these guys and let these guys know that I have to go downstairs and reboot this damn Genie 2 for so damn long.
What
But
happened
you know
with
what?
the Citi card?
The city, if anybody know me in the DMV and Miami, if I ever walked into your establishment, whether it was a club, whether it was a restaurant, and used my city cards, bear with me because guess what? It might say decline. And all of them, I got 6 debit cards. And you got debit cards, at the end of the day, you can say, hey, this is nothing but my money on. I don't have a credit card. Man, my Citibank debit cards would decline on me in a blink of an eye.
Why?
I can literally. They accuse fraud for everything. If I bought something, if I'm in Leesburg, if I bought something at McDonald's and I end up at Burger King because Burger King have a better fry, or if McDonald's fries better than Burger King, and I say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna get a fry from McDonald's, I'm gonna go get a burger, and I'm just hypothetically thinking, saying, trust me, I won't do this. They would decline it the next time I purchase something. And I don't went through the measures of saying, okay, talking to the people, saying, hey, this is me. I'll call you every week. And I have to go through the same
it's
thing.
me. It's not fraud.
And they'll tell me, okay, well, we just saw you purchase that such and such. That's me. Okay, thank you. But hey, can you give me a text or give me some kind of alert whenever this happens again so I can be aware and I can, because they have that now. They have it where they'll text you and say,
is this you? Or
type
whatever.
1 for yes, type 2 for no.
Sure.
And I'm okay with that. I have that because I have 6 cards. I know you do this. But for some odd reason, with my cards, they have a hard time doing that with me. So I've changed numbers. I gave them my new number and find myself in this situation over and over again. So Citibank, just like I told DirecTV, the only reason I'm still with Citibank is because the guy at the Reston, Virginia branch, Vincent, he's been taking care of me.
Shout outs to Vince.
Vince, the manager, man, trust me. If it wasn't for Vince, I would have been left. There's nowhere to go. It's SunTrust or either Wells Fargo or Chase, and I don't like none of them either. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to find somebody that I can go to, and I've been with Citibank since I've ever had an account, and I was probably 18, 19 years old. So from 18, 19 to 39, I'm having the same problem. And Vincent's like, I called him from Bahamas. I told you, I called him from Bahamas. Trust me, the most embarrassing situation I've ever dealt with is I'm getting a free room. Everything is paid for. All I have to do is give my card for incidentals.
Oh, I got declined.
And it got declined in the Bahamas. And I'm sitting here like, ma'am, I got money all over. Can I go to ATM or something?
That's a nightmare.
And I sat there on the phone with Citibank, and they told me that it was fraud being done to my card because I was in Florida just a day ago, and I came from Virginia before that, and they said I was in 3 different places in 3 different days, and they had to cut my card off, and I have to wait for a new card. So taking L's to me is normal.
Well, you know what? You should put your money in the Travis Bank and Trust, and you can subscribe. Our cards get
With
declined.
Travis, I trust.
Yeah, our cards get declined because of insufficient funds. It's just that simple. Hey, listen, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, we're on everything. Get at us, Santana Moss Show Podcast. It's a Rizap Hollow.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical